Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to do a few last minute practice questions of non-calculator paper 2 extended 0580 or 0980. Let's begin with the topic numbers. Question 1. Write down a prime number between 30 and 40, which we know there are very simple two prime numbers, 31 and 37. For one marker you can just write one of this. Next, write 180 as a product of its prime factors. When you're asked to write it as a product, you first try to understand how this 180 will be written as 2 times 90. Further, 90 would be written as 2 times 45. 45 further could be written as 3 times 15, and this 15 would be 3 times it by 5. Once you get all the prime numbers, we would write 2, 2, 3, 3, 5, which is going to be 180 when we take a product. So we write these numbers, which is going to be the prime factors written as a product. Write down the highest common factor of 12 a cube b and 20 a square b square. First, try to write the number 12 as product of prime factors, which will be 2 times 3. Next, we have 3 a's, which is written as a times a, and we have 1b. Next, 20 a square b square. Again, write 20 as a product of prime numbers, which is 2 times 5. You have 2 a's and 2 b's. After writing this, because it is the highest common factor, just find out the common ones, which are going to be these. We get 2 times 2, that is 4, a twice and b once. So 4a squared b would be the highest common factor of the given two numbers. Next, finding the lowest common multiple of 30 and 75. We can do this with a similar way, that is first writing it as a product of prime factors. 30 will be written as 2 times 3 times 5, and 75 is 3 times 5 times 5. Because we need the least common multiple, it's not just the common factors but also the uncommon ones. First, write down the common ones, that's 3 times 5. After writing the common elements, we also have to write the uncommon elements, and multiplying all of them gives us 3 times 5 times it by 2 times it by 5, which is 150 as the least common multiple of 30 and 75. Next question. Write a recurring number 0.272727 as a fraction. So let me first assume x to be the given number, and I will write it as a recurring number. Next, because I want this 27 at the integer side, I will multiply this by 100. Which gives me 27.272727 and so on. Subtracting the given number from this one, I would be able to get this as 99x is equal to 27, and all this 2277 are going to give me zeros. This gives me x equals to 27 over 99. And simplifying it, we would get 3 times 3 is 9 times 3, 9 times 11, which is 3 over 11 to be the fraction of the given recurring number. Next question. A train journey takes 5 hours 54 minutes. The journey starts at 9:15. Find the time that the journey ends. Let's first begin with where it starts, that is 9:15. And let's just add the given hours, that is 5 hours and 54 minutes to this. This gives us 14.69. But we know that 1 hour will be completed with the 60 minutes. That would become 15 and 9 minutes left. So 15:09 would be the time where the journey ends. Ila's height is 175 centimeters. Correct to the nearest 5 centimeter. And the question is about upper bound. When we have to solve this type of questions of finding either upper bound or lower bound, first try to write the given number in the center and try to understand what would be the answer that we will get after and before this number. Because it is to the correct 5 centimeters, the next answer would be 180 and the previous answer would be 170. You get the lower bounds and the upper bounds in between these numbers. We get lower bound here and upper bound in between 175 and 180, which is a midpoint of 2. We can get a midpoint of the number by adding them and dividing by 2. In this case, we get 177.5 to be the upper bound of the given number, 175 centimeters. Next. Violet and Wilfred recorded their times to run 200 meters correct to the nearest second. 36 seconds is what the Violet's time is and Wilfred is running for 39 seconds. We have been asked to find the difference between the timings. For finding the upper bounds and lower bounds, when the question is about difference, that is subtraction, you have to be a little careful. Finding the upper bound of the difference, let's assume A and B, will be upper bound of A minus lower bound of B. And for division, it's the same thing. For lower bound of A minus B, or for division, we will be having lower bound of A minus upper bound of B. And for division, again the same thing. For addition and multiplication, we don't do the changes. But for division and subtraction, we have to be careful while finding the lower and the upper bound of the given quantities. In this case, we have to find out subtraction of the two values 39 and 36. So first write down what are the upper bound and the lower bounds. Because we need upper bounds, let's just find out the bigger values upper bound, which is going to be 39.5, and we subtract the lower bound of this, that is 35.5. When we subtract this, we get 4.0, so we write 4. If you see in the mark scheme, they always write something like NFWW. What does that mean? This means not from wrong working. So even if you get answer which is 4 but with some wrong working, you won't be awarded this 2 mark. So keep this in mind whenever you are doing this type of questions. Neha has a piece of ribbon of length 23 centimeters, correct to the nearest centimeter. She is cutting 87 millimeters from the given ribbon and this is to the nearest millimeter. You have to find out the remaining ribbon. Because it is a remaining ribbon, again it is a subtraction. And for subtraction, just like the previous question, we would need the lower bound of 23, which is 22.5, and the upper bound would be 23.5. For 87, it is millimeters. So let me first write it in millimeters and then when required, I will convert it into centimeters. So that's 86.5 and 87.5. Now, because I need to subtract them, first let's find out the lower bound. Lower bound of A minus upper bound. The given quantity is in millimeters and I am taking into centimeters, so I am taking 8.75. Now I need to subtract them. Be careful while you subtract the numbers which are in decimal. If you're not comfortable with the subtraction, you should practice before your non-calculator paper. This gives me 14, so 7, and that's gonna give me 3. So 13.75 would be the lower bound, and for upper bound I will need 23.5 because that's the upper bound of 23 and the lower bound is 8.65. Let's subtract them. That's going to give me 8.65, which is 5. This gives me 14, so 8, and then I get 14.85 to be the upper bound of the given number. I hope this is clear to you. If you have confusion, please see this question again. Divide 24 in the ratio 7:5. First, I'll try to write the given ratio as a fraction, which would give me 7/12, and this is 5/12. Given quantity is $24, so 7/12 times it by 24 gives me $14 for the first share. And for the second one, I can even subtract this 14 from 24, gives me 10, or you can also check for 5. You get 5 times 2, which is $10. Next question. Alex, Bobby and Chris have strawberries in the ratio 3:2:2. Chris receives 12 strawberries. Calculate the total number of strawberries shared. Again, try to write this ones as fractions. So we get 2/7, 2/7. Chris is 2/7. So we write 2/7 of the total, which we don't know, assume it to be x. And we know that he received 12 strawberries. Making x as a subject, we get 12 times 7 divided by 2. And we get this to be total 42 strawberries were shared in between these three friends. Figs cost 43 cents each. Lyra has $5 to buy some figs. We have to find out the largest number of figs Lyra can buy and the amount of change that she can receive in cents. $5, which is going to be 500 cents. So let's just divide this with the number 43 because that's the cost of one fig. We would be able to get this division as 43 and we would be left out with 27 cents. So there would be total of 11 figs that she can buy and she would get 27 cents change. Practice this division too, which is a long division that you have studied in your lower grades. Next question about fractions, and we have 2/9 divide 5/9. When it is a question of division of fractions, we can do KFC. Keep the first term, flip the second term and change the sign. So we do first keep the term, flip the second one. So flipping the second one and changing the sign, we get this. Now 3 times 2 and 3 times 3, which gives us 4/15 as the answer, which is very simple 2-marker question. Next one, a Venn diagram. Some students find it very difficult. You should practice it because this kind of questions are most probable for your non-calculator paper, at least for 3 to 4 marks. First one, you have to shade the region Q union P dash. Now P dash is outside P. It's also called as P complement. So we just shade the P complement, and together with this we have to shade Q. So Q, half of the part is already shaded. We just have to shade the part which is not shaded yet. So that's going to be Q union P dash. Try to understand the difference between the symbols union and intersection. Intersection stands for common elements and union stands for everything that we have taken into consideration. Next question is about intersection. So we have to find out intersection of M dash. M dash is M complement, which is outside M. And then we need to do it with K union L. K union L is this entire. With this entire, I have to take M dash. For M dash, if I look at, I have to only look outside M. And if I look outside M, let me change the color and show you. So outside M, it would be this region that is common. So for this answer, the answer is only the one that I have shaded with the blue color, not with the green color. I hope this is clear to you. Next one, to write the given number in the standard form. So first write 2.1 10 to the power p as it is, and the second term as 2.1 10 to the power p times 10 to the power minus 1 using the rules of indices. 2.1 times it by 10 to the power p plus 2.1 divided by 10. Why divided by 10? Because 10 powered minus 1 is same as 1/10, and times it by 10 to the power p. 2.1 plus 2.1 over 10, that's going to be 0.21. And from here I have 10 to the power p, which is in both the terms, so I just keep it common, which gives me 2.31 10 to the power p. So my final answer is 2.31 10 to the power p, which is again a standard form. Next question. A Venn diagram shows the number of students in the class of 40 who is studying physics, mathematics and geography. Use the set notation to describe the shaded region. If you remember the question that we have done previously, it is the same shaded part which we had seen, which is going to be M union G and intersection with P dash. So it's the same thing that was asked in the previous question, and we can just do M union G, the common elements, but intersection with P dash. Next one, find the number of elements in P intersection G union with M dash. M dash means outside M, so these three. And we have it union with P intersection G. Now what elements do we have in P intersection G? That is 3 as well as 9. So all these 4 elements that I have highlighted would be added up. 4 plus 3 plus 9 plus 6. That gives me my 22 as the answer. A student is chosen at random from those who are studying geography. This kind of questions of probability are conditional probability because we are considering only a specific case, students studying geography. So we should only consider the ones that follows into the geography set. Find the probability that the student also studies physics or mathematics but not both. So we have to see physics, mathematics but not both. So those were highlighted in total were 23 because those are the students who appears in geography, and the one that I highlighted are this 3 plus 5, that's 8. So 8 over 23 is your answer, which is a conditional probability. Please try to understand we can only consider the students studying geography and not all the students. Next type of questions are very easy. At noon, the temperature is 21. At midnight, it fallen by 26 degrees. Now, what would be the temperature at midnight? If you look at this fall, it has fallen by 26 and we would be able to get at minus 5 degrees Celsius. Next, I have put up few practice questions for you. I would request you to pause the video for some time, take a moment, try to solve these questions yourself, and then you can change this to the next type of questions which are on set theory. So question number 5 on set theory, pause, try to solve, and there is one more on set theory. I hope this video will be helpful for you for your last minute revision, and shortly I will be coming up with a few more topical questions. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you so much.